Hello everyone, today is 20th of March, now it's 25 past 7 in the evening Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is new episode of Headlines. Short summary of the news that usually I talk in little more detailed during the second news updates on my Patreon page, but today I would not be able to make update for Patreon and therefore this will be my last video for a day. And I apologize for our Patreon community for this, but sometimes because of the health issues or something else, I'm not always able to make all the programs that I had in the schedule. That's been said, let's talk about news now and go through some headlines. RIA Novosti is reporting that Russian armed forces finished clearing operation in area of the settlement of Kozinka on the borderline with Ukraine. As many of you know, during the recent days, Kiev regime was trying to infiltrate Russian side in several directions with thousands of saboteurs and foreign mercenaries. And Kozinka was one of the main directions. Of course, Russian armed forces and border guards repel all the Ukrainian offensive operations, and Kiev regime lost about 2,000 military personnel during these activities. But there were small groups still in Kozinka area, and seems like clearing operation have been finished and entire territory is under full Russian control now. RIA Novosti is reporting that Defense Minister of Russian Federation Sergei Shoigu made today quite interesting and important statements, and one of his statements is that since the beginning of this year, Ukrainian armed forces lost 71,000 military personnel and about 11,000 different type of weapon systems. Huge numbers, of course. One may say this is an entire army, and I think would not be mistaken. This is the entire army, and well, Russian armed forces quite successfully demilitarized yet another army of Kiev regime in previous 3 months. And also, Sergei Shoigu said that by the end of this year, it is planned to form 2 combined armies in Russia and 30 formations, including 14 divisions and 16 brigades. Also, quite important development when it comes to modernization and upgrade of Russian armed forces and the capabilities, battle capabilities of Russian armed forces. Let's continue. And TASS news agency is reporting that former president of Russia and current deputy chairman of Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, reacted on information that France is planning to deploy to Ukraine some expeditionary corpus of 2,000 strong, and well, I translated several sentences from his statement. Let's go through this now. And well, the destruction of the French military in Ukraine, if they appear there, will become very important and not the most difficult task for the Russian army. And for Paris, the defeat of its legions will be kind of a guillotine, says Deputy Chairman of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev. Actually, for the benefit of the matter, it would be nice for the restless French to send a couple of regiments to Bunderland. Hiding such a number of military personnel is very problematic. Therefore, the issue of the systematic destruction will not be most difficult, but extremely important task. But what would be the benefits? He wrote in the Telegram channel, and well, let's translate a few more sentences. And as Medvedev noted, with so many coffins that will be delivered to France from the foreign country, it is impossible to hide the mass death of professional military personnel. And here you can no longer ignore the references to the fact that mercenaries themselves chose their fate and dispose of the right to live. He warned. The deputy head of the Russian Security Council indicated that this military personnel will become full-fledged combatants as part of the intervention contingent, and their destruction will be a priority and glorious task for the armed forces of Russian Federation. So this is a reaction, by the way, from Medvedev, and because he is, as I said, a high-ranking Russian official, most likely we can say that that's how Moscow gonna see deployment of French or troops of any other NATO member states into Ukraine, especially if those troops will move outside of western regions of Ukraine towards Kiev, towards Sumy, Kharkiv, Chernigov regions, or towards Odessa regions. They will be destroyed. That's it. Let's continue. RT is reporting that Western troops in Ukraine is an open secret, according to Polish foreign minister. Let's go through some sentences here. So the fact that Western forces are present in Ukraine is now an open secret. Polish foreign minister Radoslaw Sikorski has told the German press agency DPA. The statement comes less than 2 weeks after the minister said the deployment of NATO troops to the country was not unthinkable to Ukraine, of course, not unthinkable, and that he appreciates French President Emmanuel Macron for not ruling out the idea. Of course, French President and Foreign Minister of Poland are extreme Russophobes, by the way. You cannot imagine how sick these people are with Russophobia. And therefore, it's quite understandable that they are sympathizing to each other. They are same kind of individuals. TASS news agency is reporting that Speaker Johnson made a statement. Speaker of the House of Representatives in US, Mike Johnson, made a statement that lawmakers in US are in discussion about possibility that funds, if there will be allocation of additional funds for Kiev regime, this would not be grants or gifted, but will be most likely in the form of credits. So if you remember yesterday, I reported that US Senator Lindsey Graham made almost similar statement that Ukraine may receive credits instead of grants, and I guess that's how it's gonna be. And today Speaker Johnson said basically exactly the same, although decision have not been made yet. And by the way, Kommersant newspaper is reporting about article in Politico according to which Zelensky and his inner circle are insulted by this initiative from US, that they would not receive billions and billions from US as a kind of gift for free, and it will be now credit for the Kiev regime. Zelensky is, according to political sources in the circle of Zelensky, Ukrainian side thinks that this change of attitude of Washington goes against the Budapest memorandum, according to which US is obligating itself to provide all the necessary support for Ukraine. Well, Kiev regime may agree or disagree with Washington, but I don't think US lawmakers care that much about Zelensky's opinion or opinion of anybody in Ukraine. RT is reporting that Ukraine cannot produce NATO standard shells. According to article in the Washington Post, Ukraine will not be able to start domestic production of the NATO standard 155mm artillery shells until at least the second half of this year. An insider source has told the Washington Post, well, Washington Post have been lied, because Ukraine never will be able to produce any NATO standard shells, ever. That's it. Anyway, let's continue. TASS news agency, because any factory, by the way, that starts producing any weapons, Soviet-era weapons or NATO-era weapons, will be destroyed in fairly short time. That's how it is. TASS news agency is reporting that European Commission made a statement that the first tranche was transited to. First transaction was already made for Kiev regime to support some budget issues that Ukraine has, and this first transaction was 4.5 billion euros instead of 1.5 billion euros that was mentioned earlier. Well, Brussels are spending European taxpayers' money as they wish, man. They don't care. 1 billion, 5 billion, 20 billion, who counts? TASS news agency is reporting that according to Bloomberg, India don't think that there can be any success from conferences on topic of Ukraine if Russia is not presented. And in this particular case, Indian side was talking about upcoming conference on Ukrainian topic in Bern, Switzerland. Previously, Chinese leadership, Chinese officials made similar statements that without Russia there is not really anything to discuss on the table. And Russia was also quite clear that Moscow will not participate in this fake stuff in Switzerland, irrational stuff in so-called conference in Switzerland, because main topic of discussion, organizers want to be Zelensky's so-called peace formula, which is, total garbage, and dreams of drug addict, and therefore Moscow don't see it possible to discuss on serious terms some sick illusions of drug addicts. Russian leadership are not experts in treatment of drug addiction, basically. So Moscow was quite clear about it. And I guess Russian strategic partners in India, in China, worldwide basically have exactly the same attitude. They're just too busy and don't have time to spend on Zelensky's sick ideas, man. That's all. RIA Novosti is reporting that official representative of Russian Foreign Ministry, Maria Zakharova, made a very important and significant statement that, according to Foreign Ministry of Russia, NATO's one of the main tasks in South Caucasus region right now is to destabilize region and create second front against Russia. A very important statement, and very that highlights how dangerous situation is in when it comes to Southern Caucasus region, and how easily entire region may end up being manipulated by West and then sacrificed. So all the republics in Southern Caucasus should be very careful, because they might be manipulated by the Western ruling class very easily. And Vzglyad newspaper is reporting that Armenia and Azerbaijan, according to Prime Minister of Armenia, Pashinyan, did not find common ground on topic of demarcation and demilitarization of the border, because they are unable for this moment to find consensus when it comes to maps that they are gonna use during this work on demarcation and demilitarization of the border, which is not surprising at all. You know my take on this situation between Armenia and Azerbaijan. I'm quite sure Baku will not stop until it will have opportunity to establish, or until Azerbaijani forces will establish a land bridge from mainland Azerbaijan towards Nakhichevan Autonomous Republic of Azerbaijan, which is bordering Turkey, Iran and Armenia, but has no direct contact with or land bridge with Azerbaijan. And by the way, this topic definitely is echoing statement of Maria Zakharova that NATO intends to destabilize Southern Caucasus region and then create a second front there against Russia. All sides, by the way, all republics in Southern Caucasus region should be extremely careful because they can be very easily manipulated. That's a reality on the ground, unfortunately. Manipulated by Western ruling class to then be sacrificed and used against Russia. TASS news agency is reporting that Prime Minister of Ireland resigned. So Leo Varadkar, that was Prime Minister of Ireland, made a statement that he is resigning from a post of Prime Minister, and also he is leaving his party as a Fine Gael party as a leader. And basically he did not explain his decision in any ways, at least in this information there is no explanation. So maybe some personal issues with this individual, who knows. RT is reporting that Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu defies Biden on Rafah offensive. Israeli Prime Minister has insisted that the operation to eliminate Hamas must go forward regardless of US opposition. Seems like Netanyahu's government is step by step but losing support of its Western allies, including in US, which is somewhat surprising to see, really. And at this point, one should ask question about Netanyahu himself. Does he any good for Israel, or it's exactly the opposite? He makes Israel, he is pushing Israel towards more dangerous situation. RT is reporting that Canada, and when it comes to Israel's military operation towards Rafah, of course, entire world is paying attention to this, because it's up to 1.5 million people there in Rafah, which is basically refugee camp. And everybody afraid that large-scale military operation of IDF may cause additional thousands and thousands, maybe tens of thousands of deaths among civilians, and may create even more devastating situation in the Gaza Strip, which is already catastrophic, absolutely catastrophic. But seems like Netanyahu don't care. He's planning to go ahead with this military operation towards in southern Gaza Strip. RT is reporting that Canada is about to stop arms sales to Israel, according to Foreign Minister of Canada. Also, quite surprising information. RT is reporting that surprising because just several months ago, Netanyahu's government and their actions had absolutely full, uncontested support from Western ruling class. They were never even asking questions about actions of Netanyahu and his government, and now there are some critical questions appearing. RT is reporting that EU extends tariff-free trade with Ukraine. Lawmakers have agreed to suspend import duties and quotas for another year. Well, devastating news for farmers of the EU member states, undoubtedly. But I don't think European farmers are going to be surprised by this decision, because European bureaucrats or Brussels bureaucrats never stated that they care about EU citizens, did they? They not. I mean, they are quite clear that they don't give a damn about Europeans at all. They are using citizens of Europe. They are using their money, and that's it. That's it. They don't care about livelihoods of citizens of EU member states. Remember what was said during one of the meetings of this economical forum, or whatever that gathering is in Davos. You will have nothing and you will be happy. That was stated, isn't it? And seems like Brussels is pushing Europe exactly towards that direction, when people will have nothing and for whatever reason supposed to be happy about it. It's crazy, by the way. It's crazy. And right now, as I'm recording this video, there are huge protests of Polish farmers, for example, in Poland, all around Poland, and around 500 settlements, roads are blocked, including 18 main roads that go towards Warsaw, capital of Poland. So farmers most likely will continue their fight for the rights, for their businesses and for their livelihoods. Netanyahu is reporting that most likely Russian central bank will make no changes when it comes to key interest rates, and key interest will remain on 16 percentage point. This is quite unfortunate news, of course, because 16% is a really high number, But well, I guess that's how. That's best decision for this moment for economy. Das news agency is reporting that Finland, by the way, Finland 7th time in a row have been recognized as the most happiest country of the world. And I'm gonna end this video on this great news. Congratulations to Finnish people. First of all, from our community, and then to entire Finland. I'm happy for them. I mean, it's great. It's great. Finland is a wonderful country, by the way. They have a crazy leadership there, political leadership, but country is wonderful. People are wonderful. So I'm happy for Finns. Well done, well done. And this is it for this relatively short video. Hopefully you will find it somewhat informative, interesting, maybe even useful. And if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything. More likes and comments probably will help me to deal with the algorithms on both platforms, Rumble and YouTube, and reach wider audience. And for very same reason, if you can, please share links to my videos or my channels with your friends on any of the platforms that you are using actively. And finally, even though I may not be able, I will try, but I may not be able to make second news update of the day, as I usually do on my Patreon page. But if you're considering to support my work, please subscribe to my Patreon page. And I mean, if you want to, you can also support my work with small donations through PayPal or Boosty. All the links are in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care. Bye for now.